Hi guys, MrRoflWaffles here. Welcome back for another no-nonsense news update. Today we're going to be covering the new patch that's come out after the Tomb's release. So this isn't the launch patch, this is a future patch, January 31st. There's a bunch of stuff in here, and there's quite a lot of changes actually to the Tomb itself. We're going to be getting into those, but there's also a ton of stuff that's not in the patch that we do still need to cover. So I tweeted out saying the map's been out for 24 hours, and first of all, just a quick kind of sentiment chat on community opinions. I did a lot of polls on stream about this, and stream was quite consistently ranking the map a 6 or a 7 out of 10, and I think this comment sums it up quite well. I think the map's a filler map, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It looks great, and I personally like the setting. It's just alright. Not terrible, but not great in my humble opinion. And I've seen a lot of other similar sentiment shared by you guys in the comment sections of my videos and things like that, and I'd love for you guys to continue to let me know what you think in the comments of this video as well. But some people are having a ton of issues. As you can see, I haven't been able to play. It crashed after 30 to 60 seconds and stopped trying after 2 days. There's a lot of people that are having issues like that, so let's jump into some of the problems with the Tomb now. First of all, just like a lake here, a lot of people have been experiencing this issue where you'll be shooting the symbols, right, and you'll be trying to figure out how you're going to teleport to the Dark Ether to do the purple orb escort step, and then this happens. Okay, no, not quite this. So, this was just a banger tweet from, like, I think this is a really funny tweet. But what happens to a lot of people is that they get out of the portal and they fall to their death straight away. What that is a sign of is not actually a game bug. It's a sign that you looked at those symbols on the rocks and you got the wrong symbols matched up with the ones that you shoot on the portal. You need to be very careful you're shooting the right symbols. And in my opinion, this is actually something that Treyarch do need to improve because the symbols themselves don't load in properly for a lot of players and they're too either blurry or just too far away, really. And it means that this step is really difficult for no reason. It's not difficult in a fun way. It's difficult in a, I know how to do it, my eyes just aren't good enough to do it way, which is bad. That's just bad design. So as much as tweets like this are very funny, I think Treyarch do need to update the symbols to improve their readability and to make sure that they load in on the highest graphics settings for all players, regardless of what graphics settings or platform they might be playing on. Another issue I've seen happening to a lot of people is falling under the map. As you can see, this guy's kind of halfway through the map. This happens a lot because of mimics that will pull you down there, amalgams will pull you down there. It's the same sort of stuff that we've seen on previous maps. And I mean, there you go. He's fallen completely under the map there. And that's something that I've seen happening a lot. Also, if your game is this dark, if you go to your graphic settings and turn your gamma up to like 95, it makes it a little bit more visible overall. So that might be something that some of you guys might want to experiment with. Another issue that's been plaguing the game since launch is blue screening. It's apparently a really big PC issue, but there are some stability changes to the game in this patch that might help with that. So we'll come back to this. Also, leaderboards are busted. I've had a lot of bug reports saying that the leaderboards are showing stuff from weeks ago at this point. So that needs to be fixed. There are also quite a lot of issues with the ice staff. For one, why the hell does the ice staff not have a sound cue when it's charged and ready to do a charged shot? I think that's stupid. I think that is just, it's bad design. There's also bugs like this that are happening, and there's another report here saying, I'm not sure what's happening, but apparently you can mini softlock the ice staff part lockdowns if you do them too fast. Sometimes B-Dog would have to leave the area and come back to get the rest of the enemies to spawn in. So hopefully that can be fixed too for speedrunners. Another issue I've seen quite a lot of people have is that when you're doing the parasite ritual towards the end of the quest, if you get a purple ball in your hand, but the ritual's ended, you're just stuck with a purple ball forever until you either die or save quit. And obviously in co-op, you're not going to be save quitting, so that's a bug that really needs fixing. And this is one of the biggest ones, and I signal boosted this, and I got them to add it to the Trello, so we did succeed in getting them to acknowledge this one, but what basically happens is you change your HUD settings from the new addition that they added in Season 2, where you've got different settings for multiplayer and different settings for zombies, but then your game runs at like 1 frame per second. Another thing that is not really a specific issue, but it's just sort of a weird observation, is that it kind of feels like all the side quests in the Tomb have already been solved. I could be wrong about this. There could be more stuff that's just lurking under the surface that we haven't spotted yet, but I've been keeping tabs on it, and basically everything in this thread that I said was like an unsolved lead is actually solved. The skulls are solved. The jump scare seems to have been solved. The jars have been solved. I'll post a compilation video of all of it later today, but I'm just kind of surprised that there weren't more things that took us longer to kind of chew through here. Now, in terms of overall kind of feedback and general sentiment towards it, Kingman's got this post here, which I think is actually really well written, which talks about some of its infuriating issues. We're just going to run through one or two of those now. For him, side eggs are not working properly in co-op games, which I've experienced a little bit, like the Ether Nexus waterfall Easter egg is a bit buggy in co-op. The fast travel's having a cooldown, like why is that a thing? In previous zombies maps, fast travels haven't had that same kind of cooldown, but it is just annoying having a 60-second cooldown here. Imagining the crazy places having a 60-second cooldown every time you go through it. Sounds like a nightmare, so I really hope that gets improved. The rocks, like we talked about, are too low quality. Sometimes the parasites don't even drop purple orbs, so they can either drop too many or not enough. The ice staff charge we talked about. The boss is killing you in one hit in the boss fight. I'm going to talk about that in a separate video because I actually think that this could be fine. It's just that the rest of the quest is designed so poorly that it doesn't set you up for that eventuality when it comes, and it's the surprise that's the problem. And there's also this post from the Corborium, which I thought was pretty well written about a lot of the issues with the story this year, and I'm going to be doing a podcast with Corborium talking about a lot of this stuff in a bit more detail. And so I won't go into too much depth with this now, but one comment that stood out to me is that where things have gone since launch is not ideal for him, and so far the plot has felt completely disconnected from where we started, and with the info obtained from the tomb, I find it slightly harms the Chaos story. And so I'd love to get your opinion on this. Is the Chaos story's legacy being negatively impacted with the way that it's now being twisted and flipped on its head in Black Ops 6? Like the Sentinel artifact stuff that they reveal in the tomb, does that undermine the potential and scale of Chaos? I think there's an argument to be made there. And granted, this is a new universe now, and it's not just a continuation of Chaos, it's a retelling of Chaos, right? So they're going to take elements that they want to use and discard elements that they don't want to use. But even so, I see that this is really sort of affecting people's feel towards Chaos in a lot of ways, and I'm curious to get your guys' take on that. And of course, they still aren't properly signing a deal with SAG-AFTRA to get their voice actors to have AI protections in their contracts, and therefore we keep losing voice actors left, right, and center, and it sucks. So that's just some of the problems that the community are facing right now with regards to the tomb and the content within the map and the bugs that have come alongside it. If you guys have any bug reports to send me, please send me them on Twitter. That is the best place for me to see them and include them in videos like this. But for now, let's see what Treyarch has actually addressed inside this patch. First of all, globally, they've got a join on friends fix. They say they've addressed an issue that prevented players from joining their friend's party due to an error that stated they were on a different version. I'm glad that this has been fixed now, but at launch of a new zombies map, this is unacceptable to be in the game. I just want to make it extremely clear, it's not good enough to be fixing this 2 or 3 days after launch when a new map and an Easter egg hunt is taking place and people can't get into the same party. It's silly. It massively interrupted my flow that day of trying to actually join the game so I could do the Easter egg. And overall, I'm sick and tired of Call of Duty having issues with people getting into parties. It shouldn't be this difficult. And yet Call of Duty, for some reason, consistently over the years, has found it incredibly hard to just get 2 people to be in the same lobby. I'm tired of it. There's also an issue addressed that immediately kicked player 2 when attempting to enable split screen, which is good. Another thing, actually, I do want to say about the launch is that people were playing the map early. Like, we've talked about the sanctity of the Easter egg hunt. It's more or less gone now, right? It's basically gone. And this might not even be something that is Treyarch's fault. I don't know if this is really ultimately like a PlayStation thing, but as far as I'm concerned, the hunts are really undermined when different people are getting in at different times. And like, 100%, I am going to be trying to get in early next map if such a thing is possible, because obviously I'm going to do that because my whole content output depends on it. But that doesn't mean it's a good thing if it's possible. I would much rather nobody could do it, but here we are. That's the way the cookie crumbles, baby. Oh, and another thing that was weird about launch, actually, is the fact that it launched on a Tuesday this year, and Tuesdays are when Steam maintenance happens. So a lot of people got kicked out because of Steam maintenance. So I feel like Wednesday releases are probably better for random season updates, stuff like that. Hopefully the next one is on a Wednesday, not a Tuesday. Then in UI, they've addressed issues with prestige challenges, prestige master stuff, challenge tracking, all those sorts of things. I'm not going to cover that too much right now. They've improved muzzle flash visibility on SMGs aiming down sights. Oh, okay. And sadly, they've addressed the issue where Weaver's and Arc Raider skin had an extra skull in the operator selection menu. I liked that skull, actually. I want you to bring that back, Treyarch. Okay, getting down to zombies here. In the tomb, they've addressed an issue that would prevent players from interacting with the Sentinel artifact to start the final encounter. That's good. They've addressed a crash that would occur when using a shock charge in the Dark Ether Nexus during the Wonder Weapon quest. Thank God. I'm very glad that that's been fixed now because that did affect me day one. That kicked me out of a game. and it really, really made me sad. So I'm glad that that is at least fixed now. Game-breaking bugs like that should never make it to launch, but here we are. We are in a post-QA testers being fired by Microsoft and Activision world, so I guess that's what happens. They also addressed an issue where dropping the upgraded Staff of Ice and then letting it respawn removed its upgrade. They addressed an issue where zombies were not awarding full points during the final encounter. Oh, that's a really good change, because up to this point, zombies have not been giving you enough points to get ammo purchases in the final encounter. So you need to go in with a certain amount of points. Otherwise, you're going to be kind of screwed if you run out of ammo. So I'm really glad that they now award full points. I'm glad that was an issue rather than an intentional design decision. They've addressed a rare issue where some players couldn't be damaged after the final step of the Wonder Weapon quest. That's wild. An issue where players wouldn't be teleported to the final encounter if they were interacting with one of the portals in the Dark Ether Nexus. An issue that allowed players to trigger score streaks during the blood sacrifice. Ooh, that's going to be one which is, it's mixed. For me, I actually think that that is a good fix, and I know that's going to be controversial because a lot of people think that the blood sacrifice step is too hard. I'm actually a little weird. I think that the blood sacrifice step is balanced perfectly well. If you're tier 3 gold rarity and you do the blood sacrifice, it's actually low-key kind of easy. I did it on stream the other day and I was like, wait, is that it? The second ritual went by in maybe 10 seconds. But I know that a lot of more casual players and just players that are set up less well in their games are obviously going to really struggle with the blood sacrifice. But I like it being a really tough challenge because gold armor is a massive reward. But yeah, I know that's going to be controversial. Rest in peace, the score streak method. They've addressed an issue where interacting with the amulet more than once could cause the sound effects and audio to play multiple times, and an issue where the Staff of Ice from the mystery box could not be interacted with if it's swapped out for one built during the Wonder Weapon quest. They also say that they've addressed an issue where objective markers would not appear for some players when loading a save on Terminus. That's such a weird, random, specific thing to be fixing here. And they've added a filter to zombies leaderboards to toggle between solo and squads, and they've corrected some typos in the UI, and addressed an issue where setting a different HUD preset in zombies would prevent any further changes and cause low FPS. Oh, they have fixed that. Oh, sick. I didn't realize that was in the patch. Okay. W Treyarch, thank you for getting that fixed, guys. Graphics-wise, they've addressed some graphical issues that could occur using the null blueprint for the AK-74, and an issue that resulted in frequent stability issues on the tomb for players with AMD GPUs at launch. Okay, so maybe that's why some of the other people have been blue screening. Maybe. Hopefully that is the fix that those people need, but if not, I will continue to report on it. So there's some positive stuff here. There are still some issues in the tomb right now. I think one of the things that people are going to be saying is we want nerfs to the boss fight, and again, low-key, just like the change to the blood sacrifice step here, I do not want them to nerf the boss in the tomb, at least for another couple of weeks. I want them to really think long and hard about what they need to do about it, and I'm going to post some content talking about why I actually don't think it should be nerfed in some other videos, so by all means, you guys can click through to that. But in the meantime, just while the tomb is kind of having its issues worked out here, I actually just posted a video on an official COD Zombies mode, but it's not a console mode. It's a little different, and it's something you guys might not seen before, and I'm going to link that on the screen right now because I thought it was a pretty interesting video. Like, they've got things in the game that aren't even on console. Like, there's entire machines in the game with their own aesthetics that look better than the like Warzone console version. It's crazy. So give that a watch. It's got a boss fight and stuff as well. It's an official COD Zombies mode linked on the screen right now, and I'll see you there. Bye for now.